to it but to do it, you feel me?
This is life.
Let's get it.
We put blood, sweat, and tears into this. So
Look, I push that weight to get that dough, but I don't break cause I've been broke. If ain't no pain, then ain't no growth. To keep it 100, I came into running and bet if I had to, I'd do it again. It ain't no race if I don't win. Yeah, in spite of the odds, I go get it like I'm a boss. If they step to me, we toss. Look how I done.
And there she is, Rosie Lynch.
Hi, buddy.
Good friend of mine. We've been friends for a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Been a minute, as
Yeah.
they say here in
Just a
Oklahoma.
few minutes, yeah.
So it's fun to be able to come over and be in your town, talk to you about your campaign.
Sure.
And we can just share thoughts, you know. So this is a fun experience for me. We are coming live from the OSU IT campus right here in Okmulgee. So that has a question for me.
Sure.
When did this get started? Do you know the background about OSU IT?
Well, OSU IT, the actual facility actually was built for World War II, for prisoners in World War II.
Wow.
So we had German soldiers that were here in Okmulgee, which you'd think, why would you bring German soldiers across the ocean here? So they were housed here.
Yeah.
And then it was a girls' school. It went through a variety of steps, and then OSU decided to turn it into, I don't think it was a technical school. It was specifically automotive. It was trades related, automotive, clock watch making, chef, so culinary, which we still have an incredible culinary school here. They had the different huge automotive companies, Toyota, Ford, Chevy, all the GM. They actually had their own business building where they would have students come in and work on actual engines and cars and things. I don't know a lot about cars and stuff, I apologize. But it was really cool, and it was they did also animal husbandry, like I forget what it's called, where they do saddle making and shoeing.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I don't know the word. Farrier, thank you. So they did a lot of things, and then over the course of the years, they turned it into a 2-year school. It's trifecta, so it has 3 semesters a year versus 2.
Okay.
And that's a little different, but it works for the county. And then you could get your LPN here, you can get your associates in several ways. We actually have a gaming facility here that is pretty awesome. So it's teaching young kids who are already interested in games and all that sort of arcade thing. It shows them how to create their own, because that could be a very good lucrative career, especially if they're really good at it. And so there's so much here on the campus, and I'm really loving that we've got Pistol Pete here and OSU in our community. It's a gift to Okmulgee.
And I was just talking about one of my good friends from Wichita. He's now passed, but he spent some time with Frank Eaton back 100 years ago, whenever they were, my friend Reese, he was a young man, but he got to spend some time. He said, man, he's had some stories, and he was such a character. But they would meet up in the Ark City area around, so Reese was from Sedan, Kansas, and they would meet up around the Ark City area, and there was a lot of cattle movement back and forth between Kansas and Oklahoma back then. So it's good to see you again.
Thank you.
And let's talk a little bit about your campaign, because that's, we're in your county, your district.
Yes.
So let's talk about you and talk about your campaign, how things are going.
Yeah, well, the interesting part is, so I ran 2 years ago, and I was excited about running. I think that's maybe the second or third time we met. And I did a coffee with Democrats with you in the car, which was fun. And what ended up happening.
What is going on here? Settle down.
I know.
My
People want to talk to us. It's okay. I get that a lot when I go somewhere, so it happens. So I was excited about running, and then our shelter. We only have one shelter for 5 counties, and I was asked to help rescue it. And so for the next 2 years, 2+, I did what I could to make sure that stood on its feet. and got people help and figured out a way to work with mental health, and it ties in with mental health and jobs, training, and all the things to help people who are dealing with chronic poverty and homelessness, to help them move them back into a stable life and be a part of our community again. So after that happened, several people had come to me asking me to run again, and I was like, nope, I'm good. I just got my master's in counseling from NSU, and go Riverhawks, and I just thought, no, I'm ready to settle into my career. And prominent Republicans asked me to run.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, okay, well, let's talk about this, because in our community, there's no way you're going to run alone on a Democratic ticket. You have to have the community back you, whether they're Republican, Independent, or Democrat.
Right.
And so I decided to run again, and talked it over with my partner, and here we are. But my district covers almost all of Okmulgee County, a thin slice of western Muskogee County, and I'm sort of gerrymandered up into South Tulsa County. So over to Indian Springs, Golf Course, kind of that area. If you know the area, you'll know.
So I'm hoping that somebody on here will let us know about if there's any feedback from the audio. I forgot to bring the thing that I normally would plug in here, so we're just kind of winging it today, and hopefully everything comes across just fine. But I love the engagement, I love the conversation, and I always love spending time with you because you're such a genuine person.
Thank you.
And the fact, not, everyone says, well, the truth is, truth is subjective, but the facts are the facts. And the fact is, you've got a lot of Republican support. That's the deal that I am just so amazed at.
Yeah.
And it's not unique to you.
No.
Because I'm also getting some Republican come on board and supporting the campaign. It's like, it feels so good.
Man, the unfortunate part for so many years is there's been this wedge that has been driven by the GOP, mostly by Fox Entertainment News, to divide us.
I love the way you said that, Fox Entertainment.
Because it's entertainment news. It's to divide us, and when we go back to the reality that we're here to serve our constituents and our people in our neighborhood, it won't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent. Once the election is over and I get elected, I will serve you wholeheartedly.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, previously, that's not been the case.
Right.
And so
they work on wedge issues, and it's called wedge for an issue.
and
we
so
need to get rid of that.
we have to go back to issues that face every Okmulgee, my district, your district. What you're doing is that protecting workers' rights, helping people get jobs, gainful employment, quality housing, affordable food. I mean, these are so basic, and yet we're still going back to that platform because nothing's changing. And so the height of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different. So I keep telling Okmulgeans and people in my district, stop being insane. It hasn't changed. Maybe we should try Democrat again and see what happens.
We were talking before we came on here about a billboard in deep red Oklahoma. That everybody says deep red. I don't agree with that. It's not red. It just, we've had some circumstances that people just decided they didn't want to vote and participate. But I think we're getting back to the point where people do want to participate now. And the billboard says, and I'm not quoting it verbatim, but it says something like, "Are you tired of the situation? Let's vote Democrats." And it shows a lady with a receipt from the grocery store, and it's like, this is so real right now. And we're in everybody doesn't want to talk about the recession that we're in right now. We are in, a very, and it's a deliberate recession. It was caused by our current administration, and nobody likes that.
No.
Republicans hate it. And as so many people that are friends of mine in the GOP who have, maybe their background ancestry is from Mexico, getting harassed now.
Oh yeah, just because you're it's so sad to me when I think the beauty of what the United States is our melting pot. Bring me your tired, bring me your poor, bring me your huddled masses. That says that on our Statue of Liberty.
Exactly.
You are welcome here.
Yes.
And then yet another wedge issue. Well, if you don't come correctly, or if you don't come, so we have to have laws.
Yeah.
But I tell people all the time, immigration is not something that's handled overnight, and nobody wants to touch it because it's sticky and dirty and it's going to take time.
Right.
And so it just keeps pushed down the road, and unfortunately Congress just hasn't dealt with it, and we're at the point that we have to deal with it. We have to set, because our neighbors are our neighbors.
Right.
Black, brown, white, Asian, Mexican, whatever.
Right.
We're Oklahomans.
Yes, exactly.
And somewhere along that line, that wedge that Fox Entertainment News does and some other talking heads want to do is say we're different.
Right.
And in reality, on some things we'll be vastly different. But on the majority of it, we're not at all.
No.
And so that's what I have to go back to, and that's why I'm running.
And as a person of faith, and again, I don't want to push my faith on anybody else, but as a person of faith growing up in the church, we always talked about the Beatitudes.
Yeah.
And what we were just talking about was the way that our nation was developed. The Statue of Liberty was given to us by France as a gift.
Yep.
And it had that inscription because they understood what Oklahoma, what the United States stood for. And it's like, now all of a sudden, oh no, that's woke, or that's liberal, or that's, that, and I'm like, what's liberal about the Beatitudes?
So I think that's a really interesting point, Kevin, and if you don't mind, let's talk about that for a second.
Certainly.
Seems like a bunny trail, right? But let's talk about it. So my whole life has been a life of service. So I was a missionary when I was a young person. I don't know if you know that. I did some time overseas, West Africa, kind of the hump of that.
Oh my gosh.
Sold everything to go over, and I worked on the streets in inner city Philadelphia and New York City and Baltimore before they were pretty. I went back when it was all X-rated prostitution. If you know, you know. And during the AIDS crisis, and I handed out clean needles and condoms and prophylactics and talked to all these street kids who were caught up in all this mess. And I thought, how can I, as a believer, help? And so I'm there doing what I know to do, doing good in my hood, bringing food, helping bring medical care, helping educate, helping people find jobs. And that was like, the church was like, yes, 100%. And now fast forward 20 years, 30 years later, all of a sudden that's woke ideology. And my partner says this all the time. I've been flipping tables since 1986 because I don't like what some people have done to set up others to fail. And when you think that we're causing our veterans and our elderly and our kids to not have food or housing, or our disabled folks are losing benefits, how does that represent who we are as Oklahomans? It doesn't. And so that's what I go back to. What's my North Star, kind of what's my center, is you do good. You do good, whether it's received or celebrated or you get an award for it or not. You do good because that's what we're called to do. And unfortunately, some people find that controversial. And I have to keep going back to, we keep saying we are a Christian nation, we're a Christian state, then why aren't we caring for the least of these?
Exactly right.
And,
and my North Star is Matthew 22:37-40.
What is that?
It's the ultimate commandment by Christ. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it: love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and prophets hang on these two commandments. So there's nothing out there that is more important than love your neighbor and love the Lord God with all your whole, your whole being. So.
Well, and then we go back to the reason why both of us, I know you well enough to know this, we're putting the servant back in public servant.
Perfect. Yes.
I mean, why is it so weird to say we want to serve our constituents? I want to have an office in Okmulgee County when I get elected so people can come by. I want people to have my phone number, my emails. I think the fact that and I always say this, and I'm doing an analogy with the church again, but if the shepherd doesn't smell like sheep, what's going on?
That's
right?
right, yeah.
And so if you're an elected official and you're not aware of what your community wants,
Right.
what's going on? And yeah.
You were talking about, bringing the servant back.
Yeah.
And when I was going to school, getting my bachelor's and my master's degree in leadership, I wanted to be that servant leader. I studied all the different kinds of leadership styles that are out there, and the one that kept coming to me was being a servant leader.
Yep.
And that's probably one of those that's maybe a harder leadership skill, because if you're that top down, pointing fingers, you're under my thumb type
It's not
leader,
always easy.
Sometimes that's the easier way to do it than it is to, hey, how can we come together on this and make this work?
Collaboration is not the easy way,
Yeah,
right?
right.
The dictatorship is easy. Ask, Putin, ask the other people, in China, dictatorships can do what they want. We're not a dictatorship.
Right.
And we want to get back to where we can serve our people. And then, I have the qualifications to run. I have a master's in counseling. I have a bachelor's in sociology. I have a 4-year lay seminarian degree. I've done a lot of administrative work. I actually met Cindy Munson, who's running for governor now. I met her in college.
Oh.
And so I was part of the Oklahoma State Student Government Association.
Good.
I was a part of that with TCC and then TU. And then I was the first female chair for the Oklahoma State Board of Regents Student Advisory Council. And I was like, if we're going to do this, let's do stuff for our students in Oklahoma. And it's not a bird course, let's do something. And
Right.
so my co-chair and I decided to talk about SA on campus and finding that was still a huge deal.
Right.
And finding ombudsmen even for these smaller campuses
Right.
so that they are protected, so women and men are protected on our college campuses.
Absolutely.
And that was a little controversial, and that was 20 years ago. And I think it's even more now after the Me Too movement,
Sure.
after what's going on here with the Epstein files and things. I cannot abide by someone who traffics, who harms another physically, mentally, deliberately. It's so egregious and so base of the base, right? So the worst.
Right.
And yet we find people that have done these type of things get a snap on the wrist, you get pardons, and then the people who have been suffered, who have been damaged, there's no recourse for them.
Right.
And I don't know if you know, in Henrietta, we had just a brutal event take place where 3, 4, 5 young people were brutally murdered and assaulted. And
Yes.
I think that it's called the Knight's Law, and we're trying to do some things with it. And the current and getting ready to leave representative tried to do all these outlandish things, but never. I mean, castration's not where we want to go.
No.
We want to do stricter penalties for people who assault.
Right.
We need to protect women with domestic violence. We're number 1 in the nation for domestic violence.
Yeah, the state of Oklahoma. is.
And then at the same time, we're number 1 for incarcerating women.
Right.
So why is that?
We
right?
blame women for being women,
Yes, we blame women for protecting themselves.
Right.
Or if there's a situation of drug use and there's a man there and a woman, this is common. The man will get off lighter, the dad,
Right.
but the harsher penalty will be for the woman because the woman should have known better.
and oh my God.
Oh my God, can we just level things out to help our people? And sorry, controversial bunny trail, but I think it goes back to public service, needs to go back to public service.
Yeah.
We serve the people we represent and not some Oklahoma bureaucracy, not the Oklahoma Chamber, even though I'm for business.
I am too, yes.
I mean, that's the bizarre thing. Somebody told me the other day, well, you're a Democrat, so you're not for business. I'm sorry, I want to have a business of my own. I'm for small business. I'm for people making
Right,
money.
right.
I'm not against people making money. It's that, can you do it ethically?
Yes.
I mean,
And that goes with what I talk about too, is I want business in Oklahoma, and I want both small and big business
We
in
need them
Oklahoma.
both, yeah.
Because number one, we need jobs for people. Not everybody can start their own business,
Yep.
so they have to rely on a company but we need to have highly ethical businesses that are doing it the right way. Unfortunately, we have a certain number of businesses in Oklahoma who want to, cut corners.
Yep.
And that's one of the things that I want to do as labor commissioner is, the fundamental responsibility of Title 40, Section 1 talks about the duties and responsibility of the Commissioner of Labor. And that's to foster, develop, and provide an opportunity for the welfare of the wage earner. Those are, when you look at it like that, I don't ever, the very first responsibility is not about the economy, it's the wage earner. Because we know, just like we've been told for years, what is the base of the economy? It's the worker. So
100%.
if you don't provide the worker that great opportunity,
Yep.
then nothing else above it will work.
Well,
and we continue to push the worker down.
Yep.
What did we do just last month or a month and a half ago?
Yep.
We just pushed the worker down again and said, no, you're not valued in Oklahoma because we're, $7.25 an hour is all you're worth to us.
Mm-hmm.
And
I actually talked to some people about that wage question, and so the local jobs, the local businesses that I've been talking to, they're begging for help.
Sure.
They're begging for people to be consistent and show up and be here. If you pay people a good salary,
That's right.
and there are businesses here that pay very well.
Right.
Maybe they're not, Tate and Lyle level, which is a major factory where they're making really good money, but they're making decent money that they can pay their families. Why can't we do that? And most businesses already are doing that. It's that we've got to force other businesses to do it as well. It's time.
Right.
And then the other thing is, and I'm not mad that people make a good salary, but when the head of PSO is the highest paid CEO of any in our state, what is it, $3 million a year?
Right.
What are you doing in Oklahoma that you deserve $3 million a year?
Yeah.
And you're a public utility manager.
Right.
Are you kidding?
Right.
And so there's so many things we can address, but I think at a state level, and this is a little where we might hopefully have a chance to work together, if we can get where our construction workers are paid a good salary.
Right.
I'm always about unions, right? If we can make sure that in this heat, they have water.
Yes, and do mandatory water breaks.
Well, and can you believe that's not required?
And they want to take it away when it is required. They want to outlaw it so that you will not longer have a mandatory break for the heat. There is no mandatory requirement to put up a canopy or a tent or anything where people can cool down, have a cooling station.
It's unheard of.
Right.
And
you said yesterday in
Yeah.
Okmulgee it was 120 degrees.
Yeah, we were talking, it was between 118, 120 degrees. Right now, it's 112.
Right.
So can you imagine a day worker in this? We saw somebody coming in, I don't know if you saw it on Wood Drive, somebody was doing something painting something on the road.
Yeah.
In this heat.
Right.
Unheard of. And
Right.
and I think it goes back to valuing our employees, valuing the worker. Without our workers, we don't go anywhere. And that's why we get mad with all the brain drain going to Texas or Arkansas, is because we're not paying people enough to stay. People love Oklahoma. They love Okmulgee. I don't know if you know, we have 2 lakes nearby. They're beautiful.
Right.
And we have there's another one in Henrietta that's about 20 minutes down the road. We have these beautiful little vacation spots, and it's a decent place to live, but the salary doesn't cut it.
Right.
So you might go get an education here. It might be a great education from OSU or Green Tech, Muskogee Nation College is here, but you're not going to stay if you don't have a job.
Yeah, and I've been looking at the statistics over time, and from the 1970s to today, we can see Oklahoma's, the analysis for the worker has declined. Mm-hmm. Workplace and worker satisfaction, worker abilities have declined to the point where I think we're in 46th place, 43rd place.
Yeah.
If we're in the bottom 10, as far as worker outcomes, that's just something pretty bad about,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes back to what, State Question 832 was that one opportunity.
Yep.
And yet we have these people within our government who are able to manipulate the system, put it on a very seldom used election.
Yep.
They could have easily put it on November 3rd where they get bigger turnout, but no, they put it on, they play the game to make sure that
Well,
the
and
least number of people vote for
They did the
something
same thing
important.
with State Question 846 and 844.
Right.
They're
This
both
next
going to.
time, yeah.
That's that. So we've got early voting going on already.
Right.
And so I've already voted. I vote at the courthouse. I always vote early because if people need me, I'm usually available. But these two questions, we already have a 0.01% rate of fraud in Oklahoma in our elections. It's the best in the nation. And what's happening is the federal government has not been able to pass the SAVE Act. So they're wanting to run a test run through Oklahoma because they know we have the uber majority.
Right.
So they set it up that, are we doing good on time? I want to make sure we're okay.
We're good. We're gonna shut it down in about 5 minutes.
Okay, but they set it up so that they're hoping that here's a governor rate runoff.
Yeah.
A lot of Republicans are going to vote today. And I told everybody I know, you have to vote. You have to vote on these two questions. They're
Right.
very important.
Right.
It's deliberate. And when you look at, we need people in office that will deliberately serve versus deliberately set them up to fail. And that's what we're encountering in Oklahoma.
And here's one of the worst outcomes that's going to happen because of this. If these state questions go into effect, particularly if they were able to take the mail-in ballot away.
Yeah,
Who's
it's a
going
big
to get
deal.
impacted by that?
Every rural area, veterans,
Right.
military, our military,
active duty military
active
that are
duty.
no longer in Oklahoma but
Yep.
serving our country
Yep.
from Oklahoma. They're overseas
Yep.
on a ship, wherever throughout the globe.
Or even in the U.S., I mean, wherever
Yeah.
they are. And then our greatest generation,
Yeah.
the people that are maybe in a nursing home
Yes,
that are
yes.
physically disabled,
Right.
they're not going to be able to go. So
Yeah.
we've set it up that only a few people are voting, and we're going back to Jim Crow laws where we're gerrymandering out
Right.
the citizen to hear their voice.
Right.
And if this doesn't make you mad or upset, you're not paying attention.
Right.
So that's why I'm running. I'm just trying to say, hey, give you a chance to vote for somebody else. I know it's a long shot, but I'm doing it. I'm going to be as salty and spicy as I can be and just tell the truth.
Exactly.
And going back to our faith, tell the truth, shame the devil.
Right.
And not necessarily a person, but the ideology that's set up to press our people down.
Right, right.
We do our best to just do good in our hood,
Yes.
and that's why I'm running, and I know that's why you're running too, Kevin.
Well, we're going to start shutting it down because
Yeah.
we've got another event we got to get ready for
Yeah.
here in about 30 minutes, and we're starting to get some guests starting to show up, and
Yeah.
that's exciting to be being here and actually being having the studio set up and having guests walk in.
It's fun, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
love that.
It's
just-
fun.
Yes, it's
Well,
so
and
exciting.
I love that you drove down the road. You're in Edmond, right?
Norman.
You're in Norman. So you drove a bit to come here. So I love that you came to Okmulgee County. If you've never been here, I wish you came a little early and we could arrange to come again.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a tour. I love my county. I love the place I live in. We've got some great things, great food, great barbecue, and amazing people. We just need public servants that will help us out.
And I
So-
love being here, like you said, but I love going everywhere.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest traits that I have is I love meeting people and talking to people. I'm just like Will Rogers. I haven't met a person that I don't like. So.
I'm the same way, so that probably works out for both of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, all right, folks, you heard it here. We're going to end this. We could go on for hours.
Yeah.
Just Rosie and I are so close friends that we could just keep going.
You
and going.
can't help.
All we got to do is just take a little break, come back,
Yep.
pick another topic, and we go for another 30 minutes
Yep.
or more on
Yep.
any topic you want to talk
Yeah.
about. But we're going to bring this to an end so we get ready for the next event. So, folks, thank you for coming on Coffee with Democrats. Appreciate everybody's visiting and sharing with us. And then. We don't know when we're going to do the next one. I'm campaigning full time, so it's going to be catch as catch can. But whenever we do another one, we'll make sure that it's put out so that you can see when we're going to do it. So thank everybody for being on here, and please share That's the
please.
biggest thing we can do on our candidates.
Yep.
So go to kevinldawson.com, look at our social media, share, start, like, subscribe our social media, and then start sharing it. Go, what's yours?
Rosie Lynch for OK is my social media, and my website is rosieforhouse.com.
So go, again, both of those.
Yep.
Make sure here's the deal. You can like our social media content. Like it makes me feel wonderful. It really makes me feel great, but it doesn't help me get elected. It's the media buy that we're trying to overcome. The billionaire class that has these billions of dollars that they're going to spend on media buys. A media buy costs $175,000 per week.
It's insane.
For us to be able to get out onto the social media. So I don't have that.
Nope.
We don't have plans on raising that kind of money.
No.
That's not in the plan. But you know what we can do to overcome that? That's you, the person watching this. Like, subscribe, and every time we put something out, share it.
Yep.
When you share it among Democrats, Independents, Republicans, Libertarians, everybody that's your friends, they all see it.
Yep.
And the two things to always tell people to do: vote, and vote for these people.
Yep.
Myself and Rosie, we're good people. So we want to represent and do good.
Yes.
Hey folks, until the next time, thank you, and please be safe.
Go vote.
My name is Kevin Dawson, and for 43 years, I worked in environments where the rules were written in blood. They weren't an option. That's why I'm running for Labor Commissioner. This is the exact environment that I used to work in, and this is exactly why you need me for Labor Commissioner. I've carried a level of responsibility most people never have to face. I spent 43 years in environments where mistakes cost lives. I don't have to imagine what's at stake. I've seen it. I've also seen what happens when accountability breaks down. I was on the receiving end of it. When I stood up for doing things the right way, it cost me my job. And union accountability is what brought me back. I'm proud to be a union member, but I also spent 23 years in management. I understand both sides because I've lived both sides. Most businesses are doing things the right way. My job is to support them, not stand in their way, but bad actors put people at risk. They cut corners, they ignore the law, and they undercut the businesses that are doing it right. That's where accountability matters. That's where leadership matters. Safety rules are written in blood. You don't just want me on this job, you need me on this job.
There's no job out there that is worth losing a drop of blood for or losing a person's life for.
That's right.